Now you need to pick your fighter. We got Larry Fink and BlackRock over here saying that they are very bullish on crypto now that the leverage has been wiped out. On the other side, you have Johnny Pants 69, who's mad with his poor investment decisions, and he now wants to say that all of crypto is dead. The XRP is going down to 10 cents again, and it'll never return to a new all-time high. Pick your fighter carefully here. You have the largest institutions in the world that are going all in, like the DTCC, which just went live. But it didn't lead to a pump, so Johnny Pants 69 is going to say that XRP sucks. We'll break that down as well. And then we also have to acknowledge that there are legitimate threats and headwinds from macro that are slowing down crypto, that are holding us off from going into a full-blown bull run. But if you can understand it and take it for what it is, which is an opportunity for you to load up before retail Johnny Pants 69 wants to come back in and invest in crypto. And I use the most silly, ridiculous examples to really get the point across here that we have the bottom of the bear market concluding. You will realize when we look back here, 12 months from now, 24 months from now, that these were the best times to be buying these digital assets in the current environment that we're in. The institutions come all in, and retail has been evacuated from this space, forced to flee this space, all by design. And so we're going to break it down here in today's update because I want you to win. I want you on the right side of the transfer well. So we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. It could get ugly here, and I'm going to talk about the headwinds we face. By the way, we'll be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you come on back. You can subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get the reminder, and make sure you show up tonight. We'll see you for the Q&A session after the update. Headwinds in the form of war in the Middle East. Iran has asked Yemen's Houthis to prepare to shut down the Red Sea oil route if the U.S. strikes Iranian power infrastructure. Now, this would be the Bab al-Mandab Strait that goes through the Red Sea. And if this one hits, this energy crisis gets a lot worse, right? We're already seeing the tension from the Strait of Hormuz. This is another popular strait. I think I've seen that about 7% of the world's energy moves through this strait. And so Yemen's Houthis, they've been waiting, and now they're getting the order from Iran. So if the United States decides to press forward with more power infrastructure, they're coming for it. And this has been the real escalation to start off the week that didn't slow down the market initially. Stock market was up to start the week. Crypto was up to start the week. And it was all based off of the inflation reports that came in the past 2 days. And we saw that move XRP up slightly, move Bitcoin up to 65,000. People were very triggered that I used the word rally in my video yesterday. I really don't care what you call it. You don't, call it a rally, call it a pump, call it, I'm pissed off that it only went up 3 cents. The point was the data I was trying to present, that we only had 3 million of net inflows both days that resulted in the market cap growing by over $1 billion. The market cap multiplier, the first day was 548x. The second day it was 393x. I'm trying to get you to the data. I don't care if you call it a rally, a pump, or if you're offended by it. Do you want to get rich? Do you want to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history? Well, then let's get tapped in and let's not get worried about what we call it. What is the data telling us? And I'll tell you right now, what we're seeing here, what this chart is showing us is that the debt crisis is here, and it is unwinding quickly. USD versus JPY back up to 162.4. Why does this matter? It's unwinding this carry trade. It's part of unwinding all of the margin and the leverage. The same leverage that got wiped out of crypto very quickly still needs to be wiped out from other areas. And so these are the big macro headwinds that we face right now. The fact that Clarity Act might not pass, the war in the Middle East, resulting in an energy crisis getting worse, and the USD versus JPY, that Japan carry trade starting to unwind. These are the major headwinds that we face. Now, can we get progress on get the Clarity Act done? White House officials to meet with U.S. senators to help advance the Crypto Clarity Act. So work is still happening. We're hoping to get the text of the bill this week, and we need to get this across the finish line. But if we don't, right, this creates that perfect storm, that perfect environment where we chop sideways, break down, maybe even go hit a new low between now and the midterm elections. I am still urging caution between now and the midterms. You'll note, yesterday we talked about the multiplier, we talked about that data, right? We called it a rally, but we're still warning about these macro headwinds and the potential for us to go lower. So don't for a second think that I'm putting on the bull blinders and I just think that we're going back into a full-blown bull run. We show you these data points before we get bullish to note we still have some concerns about what these macro headwinds could do to our crypto market before we go back into a full-blown bull run. Just want to make that clear. But why didn't Canton pump with the DTCC go live? Right? DTCC, they went live yesterday. Now, this is just the soft launch, not the full launch. But you would think they chose Canton, right? Where's the Canton pump? If this happened with XRP, everyone and their brother would be calling it the death of XRP. And I put down a clarifying tweet right here. For the record, I own Canton, and we didn't expect the DTCC go live moment yesterday to pump Canton, XRP, or any other crypto. If somebody was telling you that, be careful. Be careful who you're listening to out here, because we understood that this was a soft launch. We understood that this wasn't going to pump Canton, XRP, XLM, or any crypto. They're not going to full scale yet. Full scale is what takes us to high prices, not soft launch, not playing in the sandbox, which is what most of these institutions are doing. And we got to call out these institutions. It's progress. Give them an attaboy, smack them on the back one time and say, good job. You're playing in the sandbox. That's good. Meanwhile, with Ripple and XRP, we've already been live for 14 years. There is no playing in the sandbox anymore. It is live. Construction of the main infrastructure has been completed. Now we're just expanding the programmability of the XRP ledger. Now we're just expanding institutional adoption and those who are going to use the ledger. And so I want to celebrate Canton. I just had to take a moment here because there's all this talk on Twitter. DTCC chose Canton, not XRP. XRP's dead. This and that and all these narratives. And it's like, well, why didn't Canton pump? Canton's the chosen one here. Where's the pump at? And I wasn't expecting a pump, but just to get the point across that it's not just XRP that gets big institutional adoption, partnership, big announcement, big XRP news, yet price doesn't go up. That is not a phenomenon that's just, pertains to XRP. It happens with Canton too. I own both. I'm rooting for Canton. I'm excited about the DTCC. I'm excited that Swift is playing around in the sandbox. We're here at the institutional adoption phase. The reason why we didn't see CC pump, why we aren't seeing XRP pump, is because they're not taking it to full scale yet. Full scale for the DTCC comes in October. What happens between now and October? Our crypto market bottoms out and we head back into a full-blown bull run. Full-blown bull run with retail feeling safe to come back into crypto and with institutions juicing the market as well too. It's going to be a good time. And the XRP ledger progress continues regardless of what the market does. 8 million active accounts on the XRP ledger. We just crossed over a major milestone, but we share this with you guys to remind you of how early we are. See, I have over half a dozen XRP ledger wallets. I should tally them all up because it's probably closer to like 8 or 10 XRP accounts that I have myself. So if I have 10 accounts, right, people that do a lot more trading on the XRP ledger, building on the XRP ledger, they could have dozens of XRP accounts, right? And so, 8 million active accounts. Is that 8 million people in XRP? I would contend that it's actually a lot less. A lot less. I mean, we're talking about only millions of people being in XRP. That's your opportunity. That's what you are taking advantage of by buying XRP today before BlackRock launches their XRP ETF and is ready to sell it to you. You can take control yourself. But BlackRock, they don't want that because they're going to have a shiny new XRP ETF ready for you. Here's Larry Fink CEO of BlackRock on CNBC yesterday. Let's run the clip.
There's no question, as I said it in earlier times and over here, I was always worried about the leverage in Bitcoin and crypto. There was too much leveraged players in it. That's why we had the washout, and I think there's more stability at these levels here. But no, we don't see that much implicit leverage. For the scale of the capital markets today, the leverage is not as large. I mean, that doesn't mean there's not pockets. But no, as I said in my prepared remarks this morning, I'm very bullish on the markets over the next 12 months. I think there's no...
Very bullish. I'm just going to let his comment speak for itself. The CEO of BlackRock is very bullish. Johnny Pants 69 says XRP sucks and is about to go smash the thumbs down for me, which we appreciate the engagement, Johnny Pants 69. We appreciate your comment that XRP's dead and that crypto's never coming back. The largest institutions in the world would disagree with you, Johnny Pants 69. And I just say, why not take control? Because BlackRock's going to roll out their XRP ETF. And I told you guys that the suits were going to be selling it with slideshow presentations for us. You got the suits on CNBC saying they're very bullish. You don't have to listen to me. Just take it from them. Watch what they do. And it's now matching up with what they're saying, right? They're telling you they're bullish. They're rolling out the ETFs. They're going to sell it to you. They don't want you to take direct ownership and have self-custody and, be in products that are free. They want you in their products where they collect their fees and they make their money and they can build multi-billion-dollar ivory towers to watch over us peasants with. That's okay. I have no hate towards that. I understand. That's okay. But the options are now here for you to start being treated as an institutional investor as well. And that would be our sponsor, iTrust Capital. You can own XRP, precious metals, and soon stocks and ETFs as well. All here in their institutional grade custody that is completely free. No AUM fees. You're not paying any fees for your crypto to be held here and kept safe. In the IRA product, the premium custody, and the treasury account, they have 3 different options for you. Take advantage of the $100 funding bonus that they're running and be an empowered investor, right? Cut through the noise. Were we expecting the DTCC pump yesterday? No, we weren't, right? But is this a step forward in the right direction? 1,000%. And this is what leads to 1,000% ROI for us as investors down the road. Were we expecting the 1,000% pump yesterday? No, only rookies. Only rookies in these markets would be expecting that. We see how this is taking time, much longer than we want. But that is the opportunity that we will be taking advantage of. They gave us a suppressed, beat down XRP along with other digital assets with utility. We're picking them up. We store them in free institutional grade custody. And we're finally getting treated as institutional investors by our partners too. And so we're set up here. Do we need the suits? No. Do we appreciate the suits selling it with slideshow presentations? Absolutely. And I hope that they continue to do so. So with that being said, I'll let the comments from BlackRock CEO speak for itself. Very bullish. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about it. And we'll see you back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. God bless you all.